Episode 2, Recruitment Season, The Golden Cage, opens. The world did not change after Daniel Wu died. The skyscrapers still reflected sunlight. The market still opened at 9:30 a.m. The champagne still flowed at charity dinners, and Blackridge and Vale LLP remained untouched. From the outside, the firm looked brighter than ever. Their website displayed polished images of smiling associates, and bold words like integrity, excellence, global trust. Inside, however, the machine adjusted. In a private conference room high above Manhattan, the 5 permanent partners gathered again. Victor Blackridge sat at the head of the long black marble table, silver hair precise, steel-gray eyes calm as winter steel. His mahogany skin seemed almost carved from wood under the low lighting. Alina Vale sat to his right, platinum hair sharp against her pale skin, emerald green eyes steady and calculating. Gustav Reinhardt's back was straight as always. His icy blue eyes flicked across a digital tablet where new recruitment profiles were displayed. Malcolm Hayes smiled politely, bronze skin glowing under the soft lights, dark brown eyes warm, but never careless. Isabella Cortez leaned back slightly, olive skin smooth, amber eyes observant. She held a leather folder labeled Recruitment Season Priority Talent. Victor spoke first. Daniel Wu was brilliant, he said calmly, but brilliance without discipline is unstable. No one argued. Alina folded her hands. We require intelligence, she said slowly, but this time we require dependency. Gustav nodded. Loyalty must be engineered. Isabella's lips curved faintly. I have 5 candidates. The golden cage was ready again. The 5 chosen across America and Europe. 5 young graduates received invitations that would change their lives. They believed they had earned it. Perhaps they had, but destiny sometimes hides in envelopes. 1. Adrian Cole, 29, light caramel skin, hazel eyes that shifted between gold and green, depending on light. Tall, lean build, restless hands that tapped when he thought deeply. He was a forensic accounting prodigy from Columbia University. Numbers spoke to him like music. He could detect irregularities in financial statements, the way musicians hear off-key notes. He had grown up in a modest apartment in Baltimore. His mother worked 2 jobs. His father left when he was 9. Adrian did not fear hard work. He feared poverty. When the email arrived from Blackridge and Vale, he read it 3 times before believing it. Invitation to exclusive final partner interview. His heart beat faster. 2. Sophia Marin, 27, deep espresso skin, short natural curls, violet gray eyes, rare and striking, confident posture, a corporate law graduate from London School of Economics. Top of her class, she came from a working-class family in Madrid. She wanted power, not luxury but influence. 3. Lucas Bauer, 30, fair skin, faint freckles, sharp jawline, light blue eyes behind thin-rim glasses, neatly combed, sandy blonde hair, a financial compliance specialist from Munich. Quiet, observant, precise. 4. Naomi Brooks, 28, dark chocolate skin, long braided hair, bright amber eyes full of ambition, infectious laugh, a Harvard law graduate specializing in international tax law. 5. Matteo Rossi, 31, olive-toned skin, deep brown eyes, curly black hair tied loosely back, athletic build, an Italian economics graduate turned corporate strategist. They did not know one another, but they were all invited to the New York headquarters. The interview, the Manhattan skyscraper stood tall against a clear blue sky when Adrian stepped out of the black car sent to pick him up. He adjusted his navy suit. His hands trembled slightly. Relax, he whispered to himself. Inside the lobby, marble floors shone like glass. The air smelled of expensive polish and quiet power. Isabella Cortez greeted them personally. Welcome, she said softly, amber eyes studying each face. Her gaze lingered on Adrian half a second longer. He felt it. The interviews were not typical. They were psychological. Victor Blackridge asked Adrian only one question. "If I gave you numbers that made no sense," Victor said calmly, "would you assume they were wrong or assume you were missing context?" Adrian hesitated. "I would assume I am missing context," he said. Victor nodded once. Elena asked Sophia, "How comfortable are you defending a client whose actions you privately question?" Sophia replied steadily, "The law is not emotion. It is structure." Gustav tested Lucas on complex offshore compliance scenarios. Malcolm evaluated Naomi's interpersonal skills. Isabella asked Mateo about ambition and fear. Each answer was recorded, each reaction studied. By evening, decisions were made. The offer Adrian sat alone in a private conference room overlooking Central Park. The skyline glowed orange from sunset. Victor entered first, then Elena, then Isabella. The door closed. Victor placed a folder before Adrian. "Mr. Cole," he said calmly, "we are prepared to offer you a position as Senior Forensic Accounting Associate." Adrian swallowed. Elena continued, voice slow and deliberate. "Annual base salary, $450,000. Adrian blinked. Isabella added softly, "Company-provided penthouse apartment, luxury vehicle, performance bonuses, full MBA sponsorship, health care, investment privileges." Adrian's restless hand stopped moving. He felt dizzy. That was more money than his family had seen in generations. Victor watched him carefully. "This is not simply employment," Victor said. "This is partnership preparation." The room felt heavier. "What would my role be?" Adrian asked. Elena smiled slightly. "You will ensure numbers align." That was all she said. The hesitation. Adrian walked through Central Park afterward, the contract in his briefcase. Leaves rustled in the wind. Children laughed near a fountain. He called his mother. "They're offering me nearly $500,000 a year," he said. Silence on the other end. Then tears. "Baby, that's generational blessing." He hung up and sat on a bench, but something inside him felt unsettled. The speed, the generosity, the silence in their eyes. He remembered Daniel Wu's memorial photo on the firm's website. Rising star lost too soon. He did not know why that thought came. He shook it off. Opportunity knocks once, he told himself, and poverty knocks every day. The celebration 1 week later. The 5 recruits stood in the grand hall of Blackridge and Vale. Crystal chandeliers glowed above them. Malcolm Hayes raised a glass to the future leaders of this firm. Applause filled the room. Photographers captured smiling faces. Isabella stood beside Adrian. "You deserve this," she said gently. He looked around at luxury, elegance, success. His hesitation felt smaller. He signed. The penthouse, Adrian's new apartment, overlooked Manhattan's skyline. Floor-to-ceiling windows, marble kitchen, automated lighting. A black Mercedes waited in the underground garage. On the kitchen counter lay a welcome package. A Rolex watch, a firm-branded leather briefcase, a handwritten note from Victor. "Excellence has found its home." Adrian stared at the city lights. He should have felt triumph. Instead, he felt watched. He dismissed the thought. The subtle introduction. The first weeks were clean. Training sessions, compliance seminars, client meetings. Nothing illegal. Everything polished. Gustav personally reviewed Adrian's financial modeling approach. "Precision is protection," Gustav said coldly. Elena introduced him to strategic adjustments. "Numbers," she said, "are narratives." Victor observed silently from across the room. They did not rush him. They conditioned him. The first adjustment 3 months in. Adrian received his first unusual file. A multinational pharmaceutical corporation facing heavy regulatory fines. The numbers were complex. Adrian identified a way to redistribute liabilities through offshore restructuring. Legal on paper, but ethically questionable. He stared at the screen. His restless fingers tapped again. He remembered his mother's voice. He remembered the penthouse. He remembered Daniel Wu's photo. Victor entered quietly. Is something unclear? Adrian hesitated. No, he said finally. It works. Victor nodded. Good, the file was approved. Billions moved invisibly across digital borders, and Adrian's conscience grew quieter. The web titans, meanwhile, in Washington, Rachel Monroe received updated recruitment data from an anonymous tip. 5 new hires. She circled Adrian's name. Let's see if this one breaks, she muttered. She did not know that in a server room beneath Manhattan, Adrian's apartment feed was already archived. His conversations, his movements, his searches. Trust was never assumed. It was monitored. The golden cage luxury can blind. Success can numb. Adrian began enjoying the lifestyle. Private rooftop parties, high-level meetings, elite networking. Sophia thrived in legal defense debates. Lucas optimized compliance models. Naomi dazzled clients with charm. Mateo built strategic frameworks. They bonded as rising stars. They felt unstoppable, but the firm's mentorship sessions grew darker. Case by case, they were introduced to deeper manipulations. Each adjustment justified as legal necessity. Each doubt softened by bonuses. As the proverb says, gold can silence a questioning heart. The quiet warning one night, Adrian received a message on his office screen. Curiosity without loyalty is dangerous. No sender. He froze. Then the message vanished. He looked around. The office was empty, but somewhere below, Calvin Morrow leaned back in his chair, watching multiple screens glow blue in the dark. The final scene weeks later, the 5 partners met privately again. Victor looked at a report on Adrian. He hesitates, Victor said calmly. Isabella nodded, but he is ambitious. Elinor added, he values security. Gustav's icy blue eyes narrowed slightly. Monitor him closely. Malcolm smiled politely. He will choose comfort, he said. Victor leaned back. Everyone does. Outside the building, the city lights shimmered. Inside, the golden cage locked another door. Reflection recruitment season had ended. 5 brilliant minds were inside. 5 futures intertwined with a machine built on precision and silence. Adrian Cole stood at his penthouse window again that night. The city stretched endlessly below. He whispered to himself, I made it. But success built on shifting ground is like a palace on sand. It stands tall until the tide arrives. And somewhere, in a federal office in Washington, Rachel Monroe added a new red line to her board. The storm was still forming. Lessons and teachings won. Not every opportunity is a blessing. Some are beautifully packaged traps. 2. Wealth gained too quickly often hides unseen conditions. 3. When success feels too perfect, ask what it demands in return. 4. Silence in small compromises prepares the heart for bigger ones. 5. Ambition without moral anchor becomes a leash. A cage made of gold is still a cage. The story is only deepening. In the next episode, the surveillance becomes clearer. The first real moral line will be crossed, and the cost of luxury will begin to show. If this episode kept you thinking, if it stirred your curiosity, if you want to see how far ambition can go before it breaks, subscribe, share, stay with the story, because sometimes the most dangerous prisons are the ones we sign ourselves into.